What about, obviously, Cypher was someone people will know from the Into the Breach run at the Major, but the joke is that's like, at this point in time, like, it was what, like 9-10 months ago? It's quite a while ago now. I think the TSM lineup, most people got memed on in that lineup. Why gamble on this player? What did you see in him, or what did you think of as he could do in this team?
Interestingly enough, Cypher was one of the first guys that I wanted to get in the team, right? And it was not easy to get him because TSM was very hard to deal with back in the day, and we had to pay the buyout and all this shit, right? For him individually, I think he's unbelievably sharp, like mechanically skilled, like his aim is impeccable, like play cross replacement, really good. The communication is something that is basically the biggest weakness for him, in a sense that not that he doesn't talk enough, he talks too much sometimes.
Right.
He tends to say like 35 different information in the space of 4 seconds, and that's also with a British accent. I know I myself understand the British accent because I was dealing with Australians for years, and whenever he says, I understand 100% of it. But for example, the new players, like I said, Faven, right, Joseph, like how the fuck would he understand what he's saying?
Yes.
Like, and he had a tendency to kind of jump into all these things and rush into like some decisions in round and kind of throw his life away quite a bit. And outside of that, he had a little bit of a rough time outside of the server. I think he was overexhausted and he was like all over the place when it comes to like his head was all over the place. I think the TSM time and the major time and all these things that were happening in his life kind of took a toll on him a little bit, and it kind of destroyed his, not just confidence, but destroyed his like kind of habits and routines in life, which made him like play a lot worse than I expected, right? So basically, like I said, we had a little bit of a problem with resources in the team, in the rounds, and we couldn't get everything to everyone. And somebody had to suffer, right? For example, that's why I kept Lounge to give him. I gave him like a 2 weeks, and I gave 2 weeks on the bench for Cypher, and to try Lounge out to see if I can get him more responsible roles and more like resources to him, and then let's see what he can do. And he didn't perform better like in those 2 weeks, so I now brought back Cypher to try to do the same thing and try to understand like if maybe you know he would be better without Lounge when he gets more like vocal spots and more like, you know, responsibilities in the team together with Hampus, who is in a pushed up position, and they can work together. Obviously, I think that for example, Cypher is working very good with Faven, and I think they get along really, very well, like outside of the server too. They're really good friends. They became really good friends really fast. And the thing is, like, he's making Faven play a little better than, for example, Laux made him. So it's just, there is a lot of like small things that people don't kind of tend to realize. It's all just the beginning, just the start of the team. Like I said, I don't know where it's gonna go, but like we're trying to do all the right things. And Cypher is an aggressive player, and that's what we need. He can control Banana by himself. He can control the A ramp on Vertigo by himself. He can control a lot of things by himself, by only like being there, understanding when he needs to like go back, take space, leave some space, retake it. The only problem he threw away his life quite a lot of times in the advantage round. So we had to watch a lot of demos from, for example, Flit, right, who is playing for VP, obviously, and he's a player that is very smart. The only difference between those two is like a style of play. I think Flit is a little bit more defensive than Cypher is, for example, but he's also smarter with like decisions that he makes, the fights that he picks, and like all these things, like utility that he throws is very, very on a high level when it comes to Flit. But when it comes to Cypher, it's a little bit lower, but Cypher is sharper than Flit. It's just there is like a trade-off in like all these things, right? But we are trying to like watch all of these games, all of these players that are smarter, that are playing on a high level in big events on high tier, and try to understand together, me and him, by watching the demos, like maybe we can do this a little bit more. When this situation happens, we can go back a little bit more, and then we need to take it or whatever. Like, you know, the thing is, or the map is, or the role is, or the part of the map. So we're working with him right now. He was, like I said, on the bench for the last 2 weeks, taking a little bit of a break from practicing and playing and frustrating and like all these things. And now I brought him back to see if he can actually make it. I don't know if he's going to make it. Like today against Big, he looked really good. He's one of the key reasons why we defeated Big 2-0 today. After a long time, he had a really good game. So we'll see how it goes in the next week or 2 weeks, and then, you know, we'll see how to proceed.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.